In this video, we're going to talk about how HiPhyEngine handles maps and how it's interconnect with geometry nodes and attributes. So we're going to start with a scene. It's very simple scene, just a cloth and falling with a constraint. And we're going to take a look at the the properties. So if you notice, most of the properties has a little bit checkbox here. And the checkbox means that whether you're going to use attributes for this property or not. So in this tutorial, I'm going to also show you how to do red scale in cloth. So we're going to check the red scale V. When you checked, you will see that most of them are going to empty. Here we pre-filled it with HiPhy red scale, and this is going to be the attribute. So when you're checking it, it means that we're going to use this attribute as a property map for the scene. How it works that this attribute also must be a per point attribute, so each vertex must have a value. And just to pre-create it, I know Blenders uses a lot of vertex groups, so here we pre-create the vertex group of shrink. So what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to shrink the rest length of these 3 rows of vertices. So you'll have like an elastic band holding everything in that kind of effect. So the rest length scale is very useful if you want to tailor code and you want to have an elastic band around. You can animate the rest scale and reduce it. And also just to show that because in HiPhyEngine the cloth has separate U and V, you can separate out the red scale of V. In this case, the V is the horizontal direction and U is the vertical direction. And you will see the fact that the V direction will getting uncompressed, and while the U direction remain the same length. It will become very useful for like sleeves and other things as the direction you only want to shrink or stretch one direction. Okay, now let's take a look of how this attribute is computed. It is just generally any attribute, so you could just paint it if you wanted. But given that we have already created the vertex group, we're going to see how you can convert the vertex groups into an attribute for HiPhyEngine to use. So let's take a look at the geometry node. Alright, I already set up, so we're just going to walk through it. So this is the input point. The input point is the vertex group. The vertex group shrink. The vertex group in Blender is basically just a name attribute. So if you take a look at the geometry node, you can see that the shrink is basically it's a float attribute, and the static point has a weight of 1 and the rest of 0. And you can change the weight. So it's essentially just a weight map. And to convert that weight map, because the point we wanted as 1 needs to be shrink, and the rest one, the one that's not selected should not shrink. So we subtract 1. Once we subtract it, it's going to flip the sign. And then it serves as a mask, right? Those point with 0. So if you're not shrinking, you're going to have 0, and you're going to serve as mask. And we add them together, you pick the masking together. And we're just going to store the rest of them into the attribute of your selection. In this case, we named the HiPhy red scale. It's like this, you can pick your name. You can be any attribute name. You just afterwards, it has to match the name put here. Blender Python API unfortunately does not have a way to automatically get it's part of the C API. So in Python API, you cannot just automatically get all the available attributes. You do have to manually put this, copy and paste it. And for convenience, we did create a separate input, the red scale. We can see it here. So essentially, it allows us to key this red scale as well. So we already pre-created key. We're going to start at 1 and then gradually shrinking it in 38 frames. So in this way, you can generate the map, and then also an animation to each frame. The simulation will gradually shrink in that direction. Let's just run the simulation to see how it looks. Timeline. All right. So there it goes. You see, it's starting as one, nothing shrink, and then gradually the resonance got shrunk, and you can also see that it shrunk only in one direction. The v direction, the u direction remains the same. So yeah, that's it. It's pretty straightforward. Again, this is just one way to use using vertex groups to create a map for the properties in HiPhyEngine. It's very flexible. The property can be basically any attribute, so you can hand paint it. If you want to do crazy noise tricks with the geometry nodes, you can generate any type of attributes. As long as attributes, you will accept it here. And again, also you can see that the attribute can be animated. HiPhyEngine will export the attribute maps for each frame before simulation, so it supports animation as well. So yeah, that's it. That's how you use attributes and geometry nodes in HiPhyEngine. See you next time.